Level 1, $0. You open your eyes at 6:47. The first thought is not a thought, it is a number. The number is your checking account balance, $214. Rent drafts in 4 days. Your rent is $950. The overdraft fee is $35. You run that arithmetic before your feet touch the floor because it decides whether you eat breakfast. You do not eat breakfast. You check your phone, not for the news, for the bank app. The balance has not changed. $214 before you slept, $214 now. Nothing bad happened overnight. That is the win. You have a shift at 8 o'clock. You take the bus because the car needs a fuel pump, and the fuel pump costs $480. And $480 is not in the account and will not be, because after rent clears, $214 minus $950 is a negative number, and the distance between $214 and being underwater is the entire space you are living in. The morning is not a morning. It is a math problem with a pulse. You brush your teeth, you skip the $2.75 coffee at the place on the corner. You cannot stop thinking about the number. It follows you onto the bus. It sits next to you on the ride to work. At this level, you do not have mornings. You have crises that happen to fall between 6 and 9 a.m. because a morning is something you wake into, and a crisis is something that wakes into you. And at $214, it wears your face in the bathroom mirror. Level 2, $30,000 to $50,000. You open your eyes at 6:47. The first thought is the commute. 38 minutes if you leave by 7:15, 47 if you leave at 7:20. This is traffic math, and traffic math, unlike account balance math, is math you can control. That is the whole difference between level 1 and level 2. The math is still there, but some of it is finally yours. You check your phone, a calendar reminder for a 10 o'clock meeting, a text from your boss about the quarterly report, an email from the bank. You do not open the email. You know what it says: $1,800 in checking, $900 in savings, $1,200 on the credit card. This is not a crisis. It is a holding pattern. And a holding pattern after a crisis feels like stability. You make coffee at home. You stopped buying it out 6 months ago, not because you cannot afford it, but because you ran the number. $2.75 times 5 days times 50 weeks is $687.50, which is a car repair, a dental cleaning, 1 month of the emergency fund you are building at $200 a month that has not yet reached $2,000. The morning is rushed, but it is your rush. You chose this job, this apartment. You did not choose the salary, it chose you from a list of 3 offers when you were 24 and needed work, but it has a predictable shape now. The shape is not inspiring. The shape is survivable. At this level, the morning does not hurt and it does not heal. It is a conveyor belt, and for now, the belt is moving in the right direction. Level 3, $75,000 to $100,000. You open your eyes at 6:47. The first thought is the day, the meetings, the deadlines, the 2 o'clock presentation you have not finished. The second thought is coffee. The third is the gym, and the decision has already been made somewhere in your subconscious, because the subconscious knows you have not gone after work in 3 weeks. You check your phone. You do not check your bank balance. You stopped doing that every morning 2 years ago. The balance is there. It is always there. It is roughly $4,200 across checking and savings, and the emergency fund crossed $5,000 last month, and you did not celebrate. You noticed, you nodded, you moved on. You buy the coffee from the same place you walked past every morning at level 2. The barista knows your order. It costs $4.75 with tip. You do not calculate the annual cost. At this level, the annual cost is noise, and noise, when the signal is strong enough, does not get processed. This is what the threshold feels like. You have not escaped the alarm, it still belongs to someone else, a manager, a calendar, a review cycle, but the space between the alarm and the anxiety has widened. The morning has room in it now, not luxury, room. And room at 6:47 a.m. is the first luxury. At this level, you start to understand something invisible from below. Wealth is not what you buy, it is what you stop calculating. Every calculation you abandon is a rung on a ladder you did not know you were climbing. Level 4, $250,000 to $500,000. You open your eyes at 6:47. The first thought is not a thought. It is the absence of one. And the absence, you realize after a moment, is the alarm, not the sound, the obligation. For the first time in 20 years of working, the alarm feels less like a command and more like a suggestion. You check your phone, the market app before email. The portfolio moved overnight, a 4-figure swing either way. The swing does not change what you do today. At $30,000, a $3,000 swing would have been catastrophic. Here, it is a rounding error. You close the app, open email, answer 3 messages from bed, not because you have to, but because you want to clear the deck before it clears you. You do not set an alarm on weekends. You have not in 4 years. The Saturday morning just stretches. No rush, no conveyor belt. Just there. You wake when you wake. You make coffee in a kitchen you renovated. You sit on a couch that cost more than your first car. You read for 30 minutes, not a business book, a novel. The novel is not productive. The novel is the point. At this level, you have begun buying back your mornings. Not all of them. The weekdays still belong to clients and partners and Thursday's board call. But the rate of purchase is accelerating, and the thing you are buying more than anything is the first hour. Level 5. $1 million to $2,500,000. You open your eyes. There is no alarm. You are 52 and you woke at 7:12 because your body decided 7:12 was enough. It has been deciding for 3 years and you let it. The first thing you do is not check your phone. It is on a charger in the kitchen because you do not bring it into the bedroom. A rule you adopted from a sleep specialist you paid $400 an hour to tell you the thing you already knew. You walk downstairs and make pour-over coffee, a ritual that takes 7 minutes, and the 7 minutes are not wasted. They are the point. The portfolio moved last night, maybe $4,000 in one direction. You will check it later, or you will not. Your wealth manager sends a weekly summary. You read the bold line and skip the rest. Your mornings are half-structured now. Monday and Wednesday, you work 9 to 2. Tuesday and Thursday, you train at 8:30. Friday, you schedule nothing before noon. The nothing is the luxury. The nothing is the thing you were always working toward. And the thing, you now understand, was never about the money. It was about the first hour of the day not belonging to anyone else. At this level, the morning is no longer a transition to work. It is a destination. You arrive at it. You sit in it. You do not measure it, and not measuring it after 30 years of measuring everything is the most expensive piece you have ever bought. Level 6, $5 million to $10 million. You are awake. You do not know what time it is, and you do not look at the clock. The clock at this level has stopped being a tool and become decoration. You are 58, and you have not set an alarm in 7 years. Not for a flight, not for a meeting, not for anything. The assistant handles the flights, the calendar handles the meetings, and your only job at 7:30 a.m. is to be awake and decide what you want to do with the day. You walk outside. The property is 3 acres. You do not check the perimeter or the cameras. The property manager handles the property. You take a 20-minute walk along a path you built after you bought the land, not for exercise, not for thinking, just for walking. And walking, when the day has no demands, is enough. Breakfast is made by someone whose name you know and whose children you have met. You eat on the porch and read the physical paper that arrives in a plastic bag at the end of the driveway. You have read the same paper for 35 years. The paper is the same. You are not. At this level, the morning belongs to no boss, no client, no board. It belongs to you, and you, after 40 years of leasing your first hour to someone else, have finally paid off the mortgage on your own time. The money made it possible, but the money is not what you feel at 7:30 a.m. What you feel is the absence of obligation, heavier and lighter than you expected. Heavier because you carried it so long it became part of your skeleton. Lighter because the skeleton, freed of the weight, stands differently. Level 7, $10 million and up. You open your eyes. The light through the window is morning light. You do not know the time, and you do not care. At this level, time is not a resource. It is a medium, invisible the way water is invisible to a fish. You are 63. You sold the company 4 years ago. The wire cleared on a Thursday in March, and the number was not a number, it was a generation. Your children's children will never set an alarm for anyone but themselves. Your morning begins when it begins. There's no routine. The routine was for the people who still owed something to a deadline, and you owe nothing to a deadline. You produce what you want when you want, a painting, a letter to an old friend, a garden bed you build with your granddaughter on Saturdays, a foundation that gives to causes you had the time to research yourself. Time is the only currency now, and you have more of it than anyone you know. You think about the person you were at 25, the alarm at 6:47, the bus, the $214, the math that never stopped. That person was not lazy and was not irresponsible. That person was waking up into a system built to extract the first hour, the last hour, and most of the hours in between. A system that, for people who start with no ownership, never stops extracting. You got out. Some of it was luck. Anyone who pretends otherwise is selling something. But luck is not a method, and luck is not what you can hand the person still on the bus. What you can hand them is the one lever that turned the luck into a life that lasted. You stopped renting your hours to someone else and started owning things that paid you instead, until your ownership covered your mornings and the alarm lost its authority over you. At this level, the morning is not the first hour of the day. It is the evidence that the math finally stopped, and that your grandchildren will wake up without a number in their heads, when the number, at their age, was the only thing you thought about. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. I hope it gave you something worth keeping. Take care of yourself, and I will see you in the next video.